Hello, friends, and welcome back to Hungry for More. This is episode number 17. I'm Robin Mons. This is Jennifer Winder. And today we're going to talk about the number one answer we get. So we have a private Facebook group called Hungry for More, a conscious eating community. And when you join, there's like two questions there for you. And one of them is, what is the number or what's the biggest struggle you have with weight management? And Jennifer, what's the number one answer we've been given out of 500 people so far?
Almost always get consistency. Staying on whatever plan it is I'm wanting to follow, or just being consistent. So
right. I struggle with being
almost unanimous.
It is. We usually can anticipate one of two or three, which helps us know we're not alone, which also tells us, maybe it's not that it's like something wrong with me, that everyone else has got this down and I can't figure it out. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's how we define. Remember, we are the mindset gurus here when it comes to weight management. And it all starts with the mindset about it. So we're going to share our screen, another visual for you guys.
We're just full of them right now.
So we're going to share a screen and kind of define it the way that we've been taught. Okay, so go ahead. Jennifer's going to draw kind of it out. So when we are ready to lose weight, or we see our friend is losing weight and we decide, I'm going to do her plan, or I'm going to do, I found this diet plan, and I can tell it's food I love. I'm going to do well with this. Or maybe it's even the shot. Whatever it is that you're doing, this is how we define consistency.
So we're going to say this is whatever we're doing, that little dot.
Yep. What we're counting on to take us to our weight loss goal, whether it's the plan, the pills, the shots, the surgery, whatever it is, that dot represents the way,
what you've chosen, or what you've chosen in the past, or what you're doing now.
Yep.
Okay. Then we're going to, what does diet culture tell you that's going to look like? Like, you have your plan. Diet culture tells you it needs to be like this, perfection. To get from point A to point B, you've got to go in a straight line, no deviances, just get there, perfection, right? That's diet culture. How often does that happen with most people?
Well, it doesn't. I remember being a personal trainer myself and a nutrition coach, putting other people on plans and then having my own plan and being like, I cannot stick to this longer than 2 weeks. But it's because I had in my mind that stick to it meant perfect adherence to the plan. And the understanding in diet culture is if you don't have that, then you're not going to get to your destination. You're not going to get there. So let's put all of our efforts on being right on point with everything.
Okay. So that's diet culture. What is it that typically most of us do or have done? This was my story of my life until the last few years, have done in the past. It looks a little bit more like, I mean, it could come above it too, because you could swing both ways, right?
Right. So these loops represent, you're trucking along and then, I fell off my plan, but look how big these loops are. It goes down, down, down. One meal off turns into screw it. The rest of the day.
You fall far. Right? You're totally unconscious.
Right. And we just are like, forget this. And we take a few days and we're just kind of in a blur because we don't want to deal with it.
The climb up is the climb to Monday.
The climb up definitely represents a lot of Mondays along the way, right? Or even seasons where you're like, you know what? Until this thing in my life is behind me, I'm not going to worry about it, right? We started something derailed us. We fall far and we're like, I can't even worry about this right now. There's too much going on in my life. And so longer and longer and longer is that loop. And then when the fall is so long and deep, guess what feels so daunting? It's that climb back up, trying to get us, okay, I'm going to recommit to this. I'm going to get serious about it. And then there's all of that effort and energy trying to get ourselves to the point to start, let alone this time do it perfectly.
Right. And so what is our definition? We want to show you what our definition is. And now I'm using my finger to draw this. So I'm hoping that this will look right.
There we go.
I need like a drawing pen for my line.
There we go. Yeah. What consistency means, first of all, let's just touch on this. What we tend to believe consistency to mean is to stick to it perfectly and until I get to my destination. Okay. That's how diet culture, the idea we all have about it, because we won't get to our goal unless we are. Our definition is consistency is just making sure that these circles are really nice and tight. So that if, say, you eat for an emotional reason, it has nothing to do with hunger and you just totally had an emotional eat, rather than letting it fall to a screw it day or whatever, it'll be a blur for another 3 days because I feel so terrible about it. If we can just recognize right then what happens and we just recover from it quickly. We don't make it dramatic. We don't beat ourselves up. We don't say, since I ate this at noon, screw it, I'll start over tomorrow.
Right.
Any other thoughts on that? Keeping that circle tight, Jennifer?
Well, just when we're looking at the big circles, it's not as bad as it's not as much of a, when it's not as much of a fall, it doesn't feel like it's as much to climb, right? Meaning
Right.
you just get right back on track. Like there's no, oh my gosh, I did that. I mean, a lot of the mentality is I did it, so I might as well just keep going.
Right.
And really, you just are like, okay, I'll eat again when I'm hungry. And you stay so much closer to, it's still not perfect. I'm not perfect. Robin is not perfect on this.
No.
I don't know anybody who is, to be quite honest with you. And you're so close to that line that's taking you on your journey. And first of all, on the line, there is no point A to point B. Weight management is for the rest of your life. Like we are eating for the rest of our life. There's never a day where you say, oh, I'm there. I never have to worry about it again. Right. Or I didn't have to be conscious anymore. I got to it. And so when you're holding closer to that line and you're deviating off now and then for different reasons, your body is totally okay with that. It's equipped. It knows how to handle that. It's when we overload it over and over, time and time again, that the struggle comes in.
Yes. That reminds me, what you're saying reminds me of something we say a lot is your body is actually very forgiving and can rebound quickly. So sticking to that example I gave, I have a total emotional thing, eat, and my body is going to be all right. It can recover really well from that. But what happens is we say, you know what? Well, we feel the shame of it. We're judging ourselves. We turn off our brains. We don't want to deal with it. We say, well, since I already messed up today and screwed up my results, since I already know I'm not going to lose weight, I might as well. All of that mindset that goes with it is what's having us really overloading the body versus those moments that the body's kind of has to go, okay, I can adjust to this. I'll work through this stuff. Instead of just that and recovering and being back on track, we dip way down and really throw the stuff at her to have to deal with and process. So consistency, and you pointed this out, you and I, even based on the principles we teach, we are not perfectly towing the line with it. And that's not even what we expect of ourselves. And we were able to lose our weight and we've been able to maintain the weight for years. So we're just two of many testaments that it does not require perfection, but consistency, it does require, with this definition of consistency, of being aware of the moments that we're swaying, that we're overfilling because it was so tasty, but we went past the cue to stop eating, right? Those little moments that we become inconsistent, or maybe we do overdo it on the treats or something. It's how closely can I keep that loop tight so that I'm just staying right there and moving forward.
Right. Your body, most of the time won't even recognize anything has changed, to be honest with you. I mean,
no, or you might have a day where your body's recovering and you're not losing the weight for that 2 days. And then but as you continue on, your body's like, and releasing again. So,
and it's the consistency. Your body recognizes you always come back to that same spot versus going off, staying off for a while, then you're back, your body's getting used to, oh, okay, this is how we're doing things now. And then you go off, go on your damn eat or whatever that is that continues. It's the consistency is what your body will remember. It's the muscle memory, right? So we want the consistency to be staying closer to the line and not the consistency to be further away from the line. Because for so many people, the consistency is the big loops. That is what I was consistent with for well over 40 years of my life. And it took me a minute to flip-flop where my body recognized the other as what?
Like, oh, I can recover from this quickly. This does not have to be my old pattern of going way off, turning the brain, overdoing it, and then climbing back up. Many times when we're climbing back up, we're doing it through punishing ways, right? Like going into a really hardcore calorie deficit and only eating 1 meal a day, that sort of thing. And that's kind of how we're trying to climb back up. So it's these really dramatic drops and attempts to come back on where all that's being asked is not perfection. It's just saying, hey, can you just be aware of what happened and move on and keep going, not throw this whole day away, not throw this whole week or this season of life away. And
And
Yeah.
adding that when you become aware of that, it helps you to maybe avoid kind of where you like, if there was a reason that you went, oh gosh, I did this and here's why, it makes it easier the next time to be like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Right. Take note. Got
Learn
it.
from
And
it.
we talked about this, I believe, last week, right?
Mhm.
Assessing without any personal attack, just saying, oh, I see what's going on here. Took notes. Here's what I want to do next time. Beautiful. Move on. So
Yeah.
all the while, we are aiming for that, that progress. We are aiming to release the weight. We are aiming to live sustainably, but do not kid yourself that living sustainably or that arriving to your goal weight is about a straight line. And that's the only way possible. It's not. It's going to encourage more of these big loops. So one of the things that we've been kind of referring to in this, what keeps that loop really nice and tight is your ability to recover, right? So like we talked about, when you step off, behaviors that you're wanting to adhere to, when you step out of that, are you able to recover quickly? And we have spoken to this in previous episodes, and we also have a freebie for you guys that we'll add a link to that. That's called, we call it the wagon. That's kind of our nickname for it, but how to get back on the wagon, meaning how to just recover and continue on consistently. So Jennifer, tell them a brief overview of that. And then of course it's there for you guys to click onto. There's more information, teaching on it, and even a little video, all for free.
Yeah. So, well, really the biggest thing with recovery, without giving you the whole thing that you can just go get, is it's living in the present. It's not living in the regret of what you've done. And it's not living in the worry of that you ate off of your plan. What's it going to look like tomorrow? It's living in the moment and saying, okay, I did that and I'm going to learn from that. And the very next time I'm hungry, I'm going to start right back in and I'm going to eat and I'm going to be a little bit more conscious. It's not strategizing. Uh-oh, I just had a crazy weekend. I better fast the next 3 days.
Right.
Or uh-oh, I'm going to hit it so hard and I'm going to be so good. And it's not any of that. It's living in the present and moving forward the very next time you eat. Not Friday night, you're out having a great time. Maybe you went a little overboard on what you were eating, more than what you wanted. And you're like, I'll start again Monday. Nope, because then we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday night goes a little crazy. The next time you eat, I'm not even going to say at breakfast because you may not be hungry at breakfast.
Right.
The very next time you eat is when you're hungry. Yep. So simple. So
that's
easy.
how you keep that line nice and tight, right? Yep. The loops nice and tight, and it keeps you forward moving at a consistent pace. And that's all we're looking for. We have a group member that has given us permission to talk about this, but Cindy shared in the group about her journey, and she was on the big loop journey for years and years and years. And she spoke to, like, my understanding was that it had to be perfect and it had to be restrictive and it had to be this tight walk, right? This tightrope walk. Well, after being tired of these huge loops and still getting nowhere, she started doing the tight loop, being mindful, putting the things to practice that we teach. And in 3 years, lost 60 pounds.
Yes. And this is, we coach a lot of Cindy's. So you have to guess which one it is. But
that's true. We have a lot of Cindy's.
3. Yeah.
We do have a lot of Cindy's. But what she was saying is, when we're doing the straight line, I want you guys to think about like the first 4 to 5 weeks of a diet, that straight line that you're kind of able to do for a while. My limit was like 2 weeks, but I know some people can go longer than that. 5-6 weeks of straight line. The results come fast. That's the thing. That's what's exciting about it, right? The payoff to perfection is that you're going to get some quicker results. And, but the problem is once that you step out, those big loops start coming. And that is what she spoke to, is she was done with that. And it didn't mean that she was getting 3-pound losses a week, but over a 3-year period, 60 pounds have been shed away without having to be over restrictive, without having to miss out on the things that she loves, right? And without beating herself up.
The crazy thing about that is that's literally less than 2 pounds a month, where most people would throw in the towel and be like, this isn't worth it. I'm not getting the results. But one thing I want you all to think about here with consistency is where we talk about weight loss isn't, there's no stop sign for when that comes. Weight management, not even just weight loss, weight management. There's no end. When you know that, and you can look at the whole picture, and I can go, I've lived maybe half of my life. It's not a race, it's continuous. And you're learning as you go, and you're taking notes, and you're like, okay, wow, that was interesting that just happened. You have time. There's no race. Don't have diet mentality would say, I have a wedding in 6 weeks. Oh my gosh, what can I do for the next 6 weeks? I've got to get 30 pounds off before that.
Right.
We're here to help you with your mindset so that you can keep these little loops rolling and get to your goal and continue the rolling, not have this big dip again where you're starting it over. So you just got to remember, I have a lifetime to work with this, and it's so fun, and it's so freeing, and it's so exhilarating to do.
Right. And if the path there doesn't feel miserable and feel like you're constantly being punished in order to be able to lose the weight, and that's what she spoke to. 3 years of just consistently doing that while still being able to live my life and enjoy things. But she also knows this is the last time those pounds were on her.
Right. She has no more worries. I mean, it is there. She gets it, and she is conscious.
Exactly. So very encouraging, right? To see people going through that and do it with joy and not feel like they lost a part of themselves trying to get to there. And that's the work we love to do, is to help people feel at home in a healthy body, free to move, free to live life while doing it without it being a full-time job, and without feeling like you're having to do it different than everybody else, meaning you have to miss out on what others are enjoying, and what you want to enjoy. So
awesome.
Consistency. Yes, we want to be consistent, but what is your definition of it? If it's perfection, think again.
It will never work. It will never work if it's perfection. You'll be all or nothing.
Yep. That's a big, big mindset that keeps us on the perpetual loop. So let's understand there will be loops, but can we keep them tight and small and in forward motion? And you can. The answer is yes. And it'll get you there just as much as the fast track of perfection. But there's a difference in the energy of it and how it ends up in the end. So
absolutely.
Better way.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good luck, everybody. We know you got this.
Thanks. See ya.